And speaking of money, coming up next, are you retirement ready? You might not have made it millions off of Wall Street quite yet, but are you at least pointed in the right direction? We'll tell you how with 5 tips that'll lead you down the right path to the best retirement fishing hole. Well, here's a big question out there. Are you ready to retire? A new survey out there shows most Arizonans aren't, but are you at least pointed in the right direction? Investment advisor Andrew Rafal with Strategy Financial Group joins us this morning with 5 tips on getting retirement ready. And I think the first one, probably the most obvious one, is also the hardest one to do, and that is save.
Yes, it seems basic, but it is the key component to a secure retirement. If you have a retirement plan at work, the easiest way is to start contributing to it.
Why is saving so difficult out there for most people?
You know, it's one of those things, you're thinking long term, and a lot of times we're living day to day. So if you focus on saving a little bit each and every month, long term, you're going to have a successful retirement.
Okay. All right. So that's the trick behind saving, just a little at a time. Now, what's the next tip you have is taxes.
Yep. We're already in that season. It's unbelievable. Yep. You know, prioritizing taxes is so important. Rather than waiting for the 23rd hour like a lot of us are doing right now, look at it as year-round planning, understanding that it is something, everything that we can save is going to be more money in your pocket for the future.
Do you recommend out there for people to try to do their own taxes, or do you always say, hey, you know what, go find someone that's doing this professionally, because there's hidden money out there that you may not know about?
You know, every situation is a little bit different, but we always recommend if you can work with a licensed tax advisor, they can help make sure you're taking full access to your tax deductions, credits, and making sure that you're putting away as much as you can for retirement.
When we go back to saving money, and the next topic we're going to talk about is investing, do you keep them separate? Do you still have the save pocket over here, or do you pull off of that to invest, say, in the stock market? You
got to have both. You got to have what we call a liquid bucket, so money that's there in a case of emergencies, and then you have to prioritize your investment strategy. And that's going to be based on your risk tolerance, your age, your time horizon, and not, you know, trying to chase the market, but really focus on goal-based investing. And that's something that whether you do it yourself or work with a licensed investment advisor.
What do you tell people coming into it? Say, hey, you know, I've got a couple $1,000s I want to invest, but I don't want to take a big risk.
Yeah. You know, what we tell them more than anything is first invest in yourself. By just having that conversation of putting that money away, that's the first step. Then we focus on how is their long-term horizon. Do they have time to grow that money? If so, they can take on a little bit more risk than somebody who's retired.
So then ideally, what's the best age to walk in and say, sit down and talk to you and start investing in the market? Because I can understand if you're, say, 85, you think, well, unfortunately, you know, you're not sure how much time you might have left.
Well, I'm teaching my 7-year-old start saving now. You know, but the earlier the better. You know, if you look in your 20s and 30s, if you can put away a little bit each and every month, that law of compounding, it's amazing to see when you retire to have hundreds of thousands of dollars by just putting away a little bit each and every month.
And your 5th tip?
You know, the 5th tip is
income.
The income is really the cornerstone to a successful retirement. You know, too many of us are, you know, spending the time climbing the retirement mountain, trying to accumulate as much as possible, which is a fantastic thing to do, but then we don't have a plan to safely get down the other side. By having an income plan, understanding what your guarantee income is, pensions, Social Security, if you have annuities, that is going to be your pillar of guarantees. Then what we have is the ability to prioritize what you're going to pull from your savings and your investments, because one of the biggest fears people have is outliving their money. That's, you know, and longevity risk is first and foremost, we're having people live into their 90s and even into their hundreds. So you need to make sure that you have growing the money and then having the income plan to get down.
Okay, you know what? I missed it. We're actually number 5 is Social Security. Real quick, what are we talking about?
So Social Security, there's certain ways to optimize it, and we shouldn't just spend 15 minutes looking at it when you retire and saying, I'm just going to take it out as soon as I retire. If you look at some of the components that Social Security offers, it allows, especially a husband and wife, to be creative. And if somebody makes the wrong decision, it could literally leave hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table by not delaying in some cases.
Great tips. Andrew, thank you very much for coming in this morning.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, coming up here on